Well, y'all, this one's gonna be a little bit interesting. So if y'all saw a couple videos ago, it was very unfortunate out here at the newer backyard bass pond. If y'all saw that video, I unfortunately lost two of my oldest pet bass, Dr. Doof and Ferb, and it was just super sad for me. I've had this fish for like 3 or 4 years, and it was really hard. We had the electrical box got weathered and cracked, and animals stepped on it, water got inside, the whole thing got ruined, and it sucked. It was really sucked. But I told y'all in the end of that video that I was going to clean out the newer backyard bass pond, both the ponds, but especially this newer one, clean it out super good, fix the electrical box, and then put some new fish in here. And originally my idea was to stock it completely with new pet bass. But as me and my dad started thinking about it, it actually made a lot more sense, because I don't want to overcrowd fish in these ponds. I don't want it to be like, you know, too many fish and then it gets stunted and they can't get that big and it's not natural for them, because these ponds look so natural. So I don't want to just put way too many fish than would be in a body of water that size in here. And I have technically 3 pet bass in my other one still, because I have the biggest one, Phineas, that's in the original backyard bass pond. And then I had 2 other bass, Steve Irwin, and a little bass I actually never really named that I caught off camera and put in there. And that bigger bass is definitely the most aggressive one in that other pond, and it makes it to where those littler bass and the bluegill and stuff in there can't really ever eat, because that big bass is so aggressive. So I started thinking about it. Me and my dad had the idea, I'm just gonna move that bass, Phineas, into this backyard bass pond. So in today's video, we're doing something pretty crazy. So the first thing that I did was completely drain and clean out the backyard bass pond, the newer one right here. Got it totally empty and cleaned it out. I'll roll a clip of that now. Okay, it's officially pond revamp time. I've got a water's low and dirty, ton of grass, muck, and algae, ton of weeds around the edge, some tall grass around the edge to weed eat. And it's gonna be a lot of work, but got the sump pump here. I'm gonna go ahead and start by draining it, and I will meet back up with y'all when this thing's looking beautiful. And then the next thing I did was, as y'all saw, the electrical box was totally ruined in that video. So I took it out and I replaced it with a really nice electrical box that's way better. Out at the pond, and you can see that the old waterproof box is just completely ruined. 100% not waterproof. It's just really old. There's a cheap box. It got cracked, and then obviously if you saw the other video, you saw that an animal stepped on it, which allowed water to get in and tripped the breaker. So step 1 is we're gonna get all this stuff out, and then I'm gonna measure our new box, kind of modify it. You can see I gotta make some holes in it like I did this one. Yeah, that's not good. And then we're gonna go ahead and put it in and put all the electrical stuff into the new box. You can see that right here. This one is way better. I actually got some water on it already, watering the plants, but you can see this thing has clips on it. The other one didn't. Show that one, and see it is all super dry in there. So that worked out really good. I'm really glad to get that newer one in there. That'll last a lot longer and be way more. I'll feel way better knowing that that's you know, the fish are safer in there. Go for a power off. So now that we got that done, this is where it gets very interesting, because my original plan, what we did when we moved Dr. Doofenshmirtz and Ferb over from the old backyard bass pond, I'll go ahead and walk over there, was me and my dad just used big nets and netted them out. But the problem is, in the summer, I have so much vegetation, water hyacinth and stuff growing in the ponds, that there's absolutely no chance I'm gonna be able to net this bass out, because he can just, I mean, the net will get tangled up in the logs and the plants and the grass, and that bass can just be gone in a heartbeat. So, while it may sound a little ridiculous, I think we're going fishing for my pet bass. Okay, so right now I'm out at the old backyard bass pond, the original pond, where we are going to in a little bit try and catch the biggest bass out of here via, I mean, I think rod and reel. I was gonna try and get him with the net, but that bass, it's just, you can see all the vegetation in here. I just think it's gonna be impossible, so we may have to use like a barbless hook and try and catch him. But right now you can see there's so many of these, they're called water hyacinth plants, and actually when we first built this pond, I purchased these on Amazon for like $80. It was a big investment for like a 13-year-old kid, and to buy a bunch of plants off Amazon. And they just came in these little bulbs. I planted them in the water, and for the first year, absolutely nothing. I thought it was a waste of money. Next year, I saw some little water hyacinths grow up, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Well, fast forward a couple years, and in the summer, this is what my ponds look like, and it's awesome, but it can actually get too much. And there's a couple bad things about this. Like, for one, these plants, obviously, since they're in the water, you wouldn't think they're drinking water, but like, they're just like a normal plant, they're drinking water, and because they're in the water, they're actually taking a ton of water. Whereas normal plants on land adapt to living without as much, they don't get endless water. These plants, since they're sitting on top of water, are constantly just sucking in water, so they can lower the level of your pond a ton. Add that on top of the just South Texas heat in the summer with evaporation, it can make the water levels drop really, really quickly. So I'm filling up the pond right now, but I'm ripping out some of these water hyacinth, and I'll show y'all what I'm gonna do with them, because I don't want to waste them, because they're like I said, a $80 investment a couple years ago, so I don't like killing them, and they're living plants. So I'll show y'all what I'm gonna do with them. But I'm basically trying to make a pocket that we can hopefully get some of this grass out and try and catch this bass. It's gonna be difficult, but it's possible. Get a couple more of these big old things out here. You can see that. I mean, that's just endless. I could honestly probably resell these. $80 a pop. Okay, so we are out near the new pond, which is obviously where where we had some troubles. But we're gonna go ahead and move all these water hyacinth into the bait pond, which is behind the new pond. I kind of showed a little bit of this in the building series for this new pond. I'll have a link below if you want to check it out, that video series. But basically, this is just a 110-gallon trough. It's actually where I originally used to keep a bunch of my pet bass and stuff in my garage, but obviously they got a very nice upgrade over the years. But I kept it and I filled it up with water. I got a little waterfall filter over there, and all that is in here is minnows. So I breed minnows in here so that every couple weeks I can go take a couple hundred minnows and put them in both my ponds and just let them, get eaten and obviously live and breed and stuff like that. But I like to keep a lot of these water hyacinth in here because it gives these minnows shade, and they breed in the grass and stuff. So you can see all those roots and that little bit of grass is perfect for them. And that way I'm not wasting these things. So we'll throw all those in here. Okay, so now we just got some of these grass mats here. This is all just hydrilla, just your normal grass. You'll see this a lot out in lakes. Get a bunch of this out and create the perfect pocket. Hopefully catch our bass. Okay, y'all, it's officially time. We're about to go try and catch my pet bass. So I'll show you all the rig up here. I got a bucket with water from the new pond that he's gonna be moving into. That way we can put him in there right away so he's not out of the water long at all, and he can instantly start acclimating to that water temperature and all that. They should be very similar though. And then for the rig up here, I got a little spinning rod with some fluorocarbon line, and then I have a little wacky rig. However, I'm not sure how good y'all can see that. I've completely bent down the barb on this hook, so there's absolutely no barb. So when we hook him, I'm gonna have to keep a lot of tension on him to keep him on, but that way he's not gonna get, torn up at all. Typically barbs don't even really tear up fish's mouth, but just in case he swallows it or something, it'll just pop right out. This is crazy. I never thought in a million years I'd be trying to catch one of my own pet bass, but it's fur's better good. That way, he can have his own giant new pond all cleaned out, and all the other little bass in there that I've always been kind of, not coming out much and eating because that bigger bass is always more aggressive in there, can have that whole pond to grow and get big and stuff. So let's be crazy. Let's try it. This is so crazy, y'all. Here we go. Camera set up. Feels so weird. Oh, I just saw him. He was just right there. Oh, I got him already. I already got him. That literally took 3 seconds. Oh, he's barely hooked. We already got him. Put him in the bucket. Oh, calm down, buddy. Oh my gosh. That is how aggressive my pet bass are. I thought that was gonna be a mission. Barely hooked, just in the edge of the lip, exactly what we were wanting. He's about to get moved into his brand new pond. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Calm down, bud. Calm down. Here we go. The big moment, ladies and gents. This is Phineas, my pet bass, and he is about to have the best home you could possibly imagine. There you go, bud. Oh my God, that was so incredibly insane. Wow. Oh my God. That was so insane, you guys. I thought that we were gonna have to be fishing for like an hour and a half to catch that, and the second that wacky worm went into the water, he hit it. That was just crazy. So in the summer, whenever you put hose water into a pond, which I just topped this one off, I topped off both of them. In the summer, you don't have to use dechlorinator. And what dechlorinator is, or water conditioner, better known as, is it basically kills the chlorine in your tap water. Because, well, it may sound crazy, there's actually a little bit of chlorine in tap water. It's how it's filtered. And we get our water from a lake, so it definitely needs to be filtered. But in the summer, the heat kills the chlorine naturally, so you don't have to use a water conditioner. This is what it looks like, just a big tub of some kind of liquidy stuff. But another great thing that water conditioner does is when you're putting fish in a new environment, it calms them down. So it creates a protective coat of slime on their body, and it also just calms them down, their nerves. So it's really cool. And since that new fish, Phineas, was just put in here, he's gonna be probably stressed out for a while, even though he's barely hooked, which is just awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and top off the pond with a little bit of this stuff. It does not take much at all. That's plenty of it. But to go ahead and calm his nerves, calm him down. That is so crazy. I'm so happy that went so smooth like that. That could have been a lot worse, and I'm just glad it went like that. Yo, walking back up to the pond, I just cannot believe how not only quick that was so crazy. I mean, I know that my bass are aggressive and trained to eat and stuff, but that just shows you how trained they are to eat from those little pockets, because that bass was waiting. I never saw him. I could have swore I saw a little like mud kick up when I walked up, but he was there. He was waiting for something. So that was just so crazy. But also the fact that that went so smoothly, like the hook popped right out like I was hoping it would. Threw him in the bucket, not threw him, gently placed him in the bucket, and he was great swimming around, jogged over to the pond, put him in, and he swam right off. We put that water conditioner in, as y'all saw, keep the water levels all doing good, and get that slime create. I know it sounds really weird, but fish really is important to them to have that coat of slime on them. It protects them from viruses, from sharp things cutting them when they're swimming around and stuff. So it's definitely important, and that's going to be great to get that coat around them and keep his nerves down and stuff. Fish have nerves too, especially if they're named Phineas. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. That was so awesome how great that went. Super happy. You can see all the plants are doing incredible around the pond. The water's crystal clear, waterfall's running great, jets running great, UV filters running great, everything's running great. So if y'all do want to check out this pond series, I'll have a link below. It's been about, what is it, a year? Maybe, I think a year since we built this pond, maybe 2 years. A year and a half, something like that. But if y'all want to check out the pond guy and all the stuff that, you know, we made this pond from, all the supplies, they helped kind of sponsor that build. Big thank you to the pond guy. I'll have all their stuff linked below. But yeah, the pond guy pond and everything's running great. And obviously the reason that this pond shut down was not their fault. It was honestly my fault for using a pretty cheap tub. I never expected an animal to step on it, which was really unfortunate. Something I didn't even know I had to take into consideration. But now we got that much more heavy duty water tub. We got the minnow thing all filled up with water plants with green minnows and stuff in there. The pond is looking absolutely gorgeous. Phineas has now found his permanent home. It's gonna be a lot more room because this pond was already a little bit bigger than the old one, and it's just him in there. There's already actually a lot of bait like tilapia and bluegill in there that he can eat, along with endless supplies of mosquito minnows. But because there's not other bluegill and bass in there, it's just gonna make him have a lot more room. Because like if you were in a bedroom and there was one person in it, but if you were in the same bedroom and you had 15 people in it, if you were just by yourself, it feels a lot bigger. So kind of the same scenario here. And I'm super happy that went good. Obviously I'm still really sad about the whole Dr. Doofenshmirtz and fur deal. That was real sad, but hopefully they'll be resting in peace, looking down on their buddy Phineas. They're kind of reunited because Phineas was living that other pond forever, and now Dr. Doofenshmirtz and Fur kind of look down on him from heaven and hang out with him. So thank y'all so much for watching. I will see you in the next fishing adventure, and make sure you guys stay tuned because we have some really cool stuff. We have actually a lot of really cool stuff coming up. I've had some just really cool opportunities coming up within the next couple months, and starting this next week we have some really crazy fishing trips we're going on. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. Give you a little hint, one of them is going to the place where I caught my personal best bass, and my dad caught his personal best bass. So make sure you stay tuned for that. We're gonna be catching some toads hopefully, but thank y'all again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next fishing adventure. And if you did enjoy this video, I'd love if you'd smash that subscribe button. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and we got a long way to go, so we better get grinding. But I do want to thank y'all for all the support you've given me already. Just absolutely incredible. Like, to think I started this channel just a couple years ago and we're already at I think we're almost to 4.2, maybe at 4.2 thousand subscribers, and that's just so amazing. So I know we got a long way to go, but we're gonna just keep grinding, keep fishing, never stop. Thank y'all so much for watching. Until the next fishing adventure, peace out.